Go ahead, Mr. Brooks, your closing argument, please.
Good afternoon. It's been a long day. First off, I'd just like to start by letting you guys know that it's a lot of information that you guys should be privy to, I believe. And one thing that I believe that you have not been privy to is the truth of your rights and your duties, being the jury. The fact that you and you alone have the power, not well-prepared DAs with well-prepared and clearly rehearsed speeches and exhibits and a lot of theatrics. You should be informed that you have the power to nullify any law that you don't agree with.
Objection. Move to strike the statement.
Sustained.
Objection.
I will strike from the record the last statement made by the defendant. The jury will disregard it.
Which is clearly what I've been saying. I believe that not only is it fair, but it's essential that you be privy to all knowledge, not knowledge that certain people feel that you should hear and shouldn't hear, disguised under the color of law. The fact of the matter is, I didn't look in the mirror and say certain points to myself over and over again to make sure I have them right or anything like that. I've chosen to speak from the heart. What you won't hear me do is argue facts. And the reason you won't hear me argue facts is because I believe that it takes away from what should be recognized. The tragedy of this event, it should be recognized. Trying to argue facts of this, facts of that, I'm not gonna waste your time doing that. It's a little emotional. I apologize for the long pause. It's hard to keep everything together emotionally. And honestly, I don't believe that I have any more tears left. It's been a hard year. That opens the door to talk about forgiveness for a little bit. With every healing process, there comes a forgiving process. It's not an easy thing for anyone. What you've been hearing from the prosecution, and not to take anything away from them, but let's call it what it is. You've been hearing a lot of rerun. Same things over and over and over. That's what's been happening. Rerun over and over and over and over and over and over and over. Attempting to make things stick in your head that simply aren't true. Are we going to address subject matter jurisdiction?
The written decision that I previously entered is what I will stand on. I'm not going to address it any further.
Can we address subject matter jurisdiction and still has to be proven for the record?
I decline to do so.
Is that including verified proof that you have subject matter jurisdiction? Is that verified proof that you have subject matter jurisdiction?
Objection.
Grounds.
Argumentative.
Grounds.
Sustained.
Objection. Asked and answered.
Grounds.
Sustained.
Are you aware what a plaintiff is?
Objection. Relevance.
Grounds.
Sustained.
Next question.
Grounds for the sustain, Your Honor.
Next question, Mr.
Why do I say? What am I saying? I say, look at the testimony. theme from the prosecution here has been intent, 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 intent. We all know what's been said. We all know the picture that's been painted. Even the prosecution said themselves. How can you look in somebody's head and say, this is what they intended to do? You know, for a year, I've sat and gone through this. Feeling so powerless. You know, letting other people run with the narratives. Sitting back helpless while other people paint a picture that has zero truth. Zero. I've never heard of someone intentionally trying to hurt someone while attempting to blow their horn. The vehicle in question, make and model of 2010, Ford Escape, was in fact recalled.
Objection, misstatement of the facts, facts not in evidence.
Was in
Improper
fact-
argument, Your Honor.
Sustained.
Was in fact recalled. Was in fact a class action lawsuit against Ford
Objection,
for
facts
those
not in
model
evidence,
for
Your
those
Honor.
model vehicles.
Sustained. The jury will disregard.
Information that you should have been privy to, that you weren't allowed to be privy to. Why? I don't know. That information, malfunctioning throttle bodies,
Mr. Brooks, move out.
it's information that you should have been privy to. Vehicles that malfunction and accelerate not being able to be stopped.
Objection, that is
It's
completely
information,
inaccurate,
it's
Your Honor.
information.
Objection. Hold on.
Strike.
Go ahead.
Move to strike statements by Mr.
Sorry for the
Brooks.
interruption.
They are facts not in evidence, Your Honor, and it's a complete misstatement.
Sustained. Strike
How's it a
the-
misstatement when I have the information?
Mr. Brooks, move on.
This is information that I feel like you needed to know. You should have known. Information that was taken away from you. Why? To prove a case? Information that you definitely should have been privy to. The DA says the defendant has an utter disregard for human life. Utter disregard for human life. Not realizing that they're talking about someone that has children. Talking about someone that watched their children come out of the womb and be born into this world, cut the umbilical cord, held them before their mom even did it. Moments that I'll never forget. And yet they say disregard, utter disregard for human life. They made reference to a rage. As if they were, or if this particular DA was right there, standing right there. As if this DA is a psychiatrist. I said to myself, what rage? What do you mean rage?
As it relates to the jury instructions, sir, what are your...
I heard what the hell you said, man. I can't hear everything you're saying.
Was someone who had this intent to kill, this rage. It's not a game. I don't take this as a game. That's what nobody, you don't got to explain nothing to me.
Do you want?
That's what you don't understand. You think that this is a whole game to me. This is not a game to me, Your Honor. Nothing about this is a joke. That's what y'all don't understand.
But there's
and it's unfair. It's unfair and it's disrespectful to me that you think I would come in here purposely and treat this like a joke or a game.
I never said it was a joke.
What type of statement is that?
Mr.
Your life is not on the line. Mine is. And you think that I think this is funny?
I don't think it's funny whatsoever.
So I think, Your Honor, with all due respect, I think you should show some respect.
We're going to take a 5-minute break, and when we come back, the jury's coming out, and you need to call your next witness. Thank you. We are in recess.
No, you're not rushing me to judgment. I don't care which. And that's
Furthermore,
to that.
I'm not
because
sure.
that's a lie.
Let him
Because at the end of the day,
Let him finish.
If we gonna open the door on that, no, since he want to make a record and not be accurate, so let's be accurate all on the record. Since you think you know so much.
Once
So
again,
we can
Mr.
open the
Brooks
door
is
on.
being
We can
loud,
open the door on how old she told me she was when we met.
interrupting.
We can ask that question
He is
too. Then
over the
Did you
top
ask that?
animated
Did you
right
know
now.
that?
Mr. Brooks, I'm ordering you to sit down and to let the state
No,
finish.
I'm not going to sit here and let somebody be inaccurate on the record and lie on the record.
Right.
Get your facts straight. So let's open the door on all of it then, so we can get all of it on the record. Since you think you know so much. Did you know she said she was 18 when I met her? Did you know that? As she says. If that was their intent, wouldn't they have taken the opportunity to hit as many people as they could? Target people, mow down people. Reference was made to this vehicle, the damage. Says this was all caused by bodies, but then later turns around and says hits barricades and other objects. For her testimony about hearing loud crashes and things of that nature, but the DA wants you to believe that this all came from people, and all the emphasis has been put on the alleged defendant, and the people have been disregarded. Makes me wonder, does the DA even care about those people? Having to navigate everything that comes with this whole situation while still attempting to wrap my head around it. And just been praying and asking myself, how could this happen? Still coming up with nothing. But to think for 1 second, one question I never had to ask was if this was intentional. That's something that I never asked once. Do you know if anyone's in the vehicle at the time that you see it pull away?
I would assume, based on my training experience, that when the vehicle pulled away, that there was someone inside the vehicle, because in order to move a vehicle, you have to manipulate the controls, the shifter, the brake, the accelerator. So my assumption is that someone is inside the vehicle doing that.
That wasn't the question. Do you see anyone in the vehicle? Do you know if anyone's in the vehicle?
I object, Your Honor, that was the question, and he's already asked and answered.
It's in the jury.
You just testified that this was the alleged defendant. How do you know that? Can you see a face?
Which question are you asking? Those were two.
Can you see the face on the circled individual in that exhibit?
In this clip, I cannot see the face of the person that is circled.
So how do you know who it is?
I can tell who that is because I have watched this video in its entirety, and I can tell that it is you based on all of my contacts with you.
And you can tell just from this exhibit exactly who that individual is.
I don't believe that was my testimony.
We're talking about this exhibit that's being shown right now during your testimony right now at this moment.
Your Honor, for the record, this is a video. I'm going to play about the first 5 or 10 seconds for the witness to identify it before moving on, please.
And this seems, objection, because this seems like a whole new exhibit. This was never mentioned before. It was never.
I haven't seen it. I can't rule on it, sir. So let me see it, and I'll
when
take
did
your
it become an
objection
exhibit?
under. I'll take
It
the
was never an
objection under
exhibit before.
advisement. Go ahead.
I haven't seen this in any of the exhibits that I have. So how could it just be created now and be made an exhibit?
Go ahead,
I
Attorney
have
Hopper.
all the exhibits. We see these boxes right here. This box alone is 45 or 50 pounds full of so much information. I haven't even gone through half of it. How can I possibly go through all that? All the paperwork, all the digital discovery and things of that nature. How can I go through all of that and be prepared in 3 days? That's a clear bias. I did not have time to prepare for this. Everything I'm doing is off the top of my head, winging it, taking it as it comes. I have all the exhibits, and this was never in it. I'm still going to object. How is this?
Mr. Brooks, I ask that you honor the ruling that I've been
I have all the
made.
exhibits, though, Your Honor. I have them
Mr.
all.
Brooks.
They were provided to me, and this was never in the exhibit. So how could it just be made an exhibit?
I'll take
just
this
out
up
of the blue?
outside the presence of the jury, but I'm going to allow it.
Can that be stated for the record? Can that be explained?
No.
We see these boxes right here. This box alone is 45 or 50 pounds full of so much information. I haven't even gone through half of it. How can I possibly go through all that? All the paperwork, all the digital discovery and things of that nature. How can I go through all of that?
This is the video in which that still photo was taken from.
Objection. How does he know that?
I can tell who that is because I have watched this video in its entirety, and I can tell that it is you based on all of my contacts with you.
So we will play the entire video, Your Honor, 2 minutes, 33 seconds.
I object to that. Why does the whole video need to be played? Is this setting the foundation?
It's relevant. You questioned the officer about it. You
I
questioned this
question him
detective
about
about his knowledge.
the still frame from the video. The video wasn't even in the exhibits that I received. It actually didn't even receive them. They
Mr.
were
Brooks, please
obtained.
stop. The jury will disregard his statements. He's not testifying. The video's playing.
So play the sound. I want to hear it now.
I'll address that later.
We address why it was created out of the blue too.